I should say pays for life. And then I got really lucky and got asked to do a couple like discount tire commercials, and that was like above and beyond life. Okay. And that kind of is what allowed me to set up the office.
I thought you were going to be like, I used to work at Discount Tire. A tire fell on me.
Yeah, I sued him. Yeah. Do me a favor, pull that kind of right in front. Yeah, there you go. And do this. I would say this, sit comfortable and then move it to you, because everyone kind of like goes to it, and then you're sitting weird the whole time.
How's this? Is good enough?
That works. That works for me. I'll be able to. And so that's how this came about. And it was just, I had a small room on the other end of the building. It was like 2 little rooms, and I just loved it because like my house at home, this is the other explanation, where I live is a 370 square foot or something studio. Okay. Like it's tiny. It's tiny, and it's me and my kiddo half the time, and it's like tiny. But I love it because it's over by the beach, and it has a little bit of a view and a little bit of a yard, and it's perfect for us. But I have no space for anything.
$2,800 a month.
It's $1,500, which isn't bad, but it's still crazy for 300 and something square feet. Yeah. So when I sublet a little office during COVID, I just liked having a place to go, having a desk, having space. And then when that lease ran out, I talked to the people, and there was another spot, and there was this one. It was bigger. It's about twice as big. And I loved it. And I was like, all right, now I have that front room is kind of like Daisy plays there. I have a little projector in there, and we can watch movies. I put the mirrors up, so I had my own little dance studio stuff for fun, and if I want to shoot things or whatever, dance. And then I knew I wanted a podcast room, and I knew I kind of wanted, like, well, I'm going to need to edit videos and make stuff. Right. And I've been taking voice lessons and guitar lessons, and that's why I built the front room, because I'm like, I want to start kind of like making stuff. Just make it, like whatever that is.
Total artist.
That's the plan. Just create. Everything should be just create, whatever that is. And I feel that way about comedy in a sense. And I've had this conversation with other comics that I know of, like, comedy is whatever you want it to be. I think it's like we've gotten away from, it used to be like you stand there, you stand still, you hold, the mic is in the stand, you say the words are the jokes. If they laugh, then you're a comic. And then I remember hearing stuff, I think it was on whatever, the Seinfeld documentary a while back, where it was like, oh, he's moving around the stage. If you even see a guy moving around too much, well, he's that kind of comic and stuff. And I think we're moving away from that to like comics, whatever. You want to have a guitar? It better be funny. That's all we know, right? It better be funny. So that's like my mentality with it is just, I don't know what I want this to be yet. I'm still trying to learning and push my own boundaries, and I want to take it all to the stage. I'd love to put out silly songs, and I'd love to, like today I was working on, my voice coach and I were working on, I want to put a lullaby album out because I sing my daughter to sleep every night. And I'm like, well, I might as well put out a 5-track lullaby album.
Dr. Squatch sings to the kids.
Yeah, why not? Hey, and because the other thing is, like, the beauty of the internet is you make one thing. I make this little 5-track album that's James, like I said, if I'm singing my own kid to sleep, I might as well sing other people's kid to sleep. And you put it on your website and it's done. And anytime somebody just clicks on it or whatever, it's a couple bucks forever.
Your kid grades you on the curve though, right?
Oh, yeah. Hence the voice lessons, okay. Jarwan. Hence the voice lessons. So let's get into you, though. So we met. First place I want to start with that, with just pointing out what a sweet gentleman you are.
Wow.
We met because I pulled, in San Diego, I pulled a bonehead move, and I drove my truck out of gas on this hill. It was a hell of a hill. And I literally, turned the flashers on, locked it up, started walking up the hill, knowing that, there is a gas station. It's 1.5 miles up the road. And that's where I'm headed. And all of a sudden the car pulled over up in front of me, and I walked up to it and I looked in, and you were like, I know this hill, man. Just get in, man. Where do you need to go? What do you need? And it was very sweet of you. And it was a kind gesture to a human you didn't know. And then you end up taking me to the gas station, and I have gas cans. So then we went to Ace Hardware. Then we went back to the gas station, then back to the car. And then I started big timing you, saying well, I'm a comedian. And you're like, yeah, I'm a comedian too.
I thought it was just coincidental. I think you were big time me.
That's how it felt after I said it. Well, I'm a comedian. You're like, yeah, me too. So, so tell me about, let's start with you. One, how long have you been a comic now? You've been doing this?
I've been a comic now for 3.5 years.
And that's because did you have a break
time.
or you mean total time?
I had a 7-year break.
So let's start there. First of all, where did you start comedy?
I started in New York, upstate.
And why? What made you? How old were you when you started?
Oh, I was mid-30s, I think.
And you were just like, why? What drove you?
Ever since I was a freshman in high school, everyone's been like, you should be a comedian, you should be a comedian. But I was like, no, I want to be a writer and I want to be an engineer. And that was like my passion. Engineering was my passion. So I was like, I'm going to be a comedian. Then I started mentoring kids when I got in my 30s. And I would just joke around with those guys too. And they were like, yo, you got to try comedy. You got to try comedy. Long story short, I ended up losing a bet to these kids. And my end of losing the bet was that I had to do an open mic. So I do an open mic. I was just having a blast. And a couple people left crying. And it was this big deal. I was with my best friend. And I thought it was like a one and done kind of deal. Next Friday, he picked me up. He said, you'll get in the car. We're going to go to this competition. I was like, all right. Now, we had played basketball together all the time. So I thought he meant like a basketball competition. So we started driving. About an hour into Rochester, I'm like, where are we going? And he was like, a comedy competition. I was like, why are we going to a comedy competition? And he's like, because you can check it out, you know. He's like, see how the other comedians are, you know, see what you need to take to be really good. You're probably going to lose. But I was like, you're probably going to lose. He's like, oh, yeah, I signed you up.
I love it.
It was me, 96 other comedians. He was Rochester's funniest person. And I think it lasted 2.5 months. And I ended up winning first. And that
was literally how you got in.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so you were
I was literally writing material in the car for all the rounds.
For the rest of the ride?
Yeah, for the rest of the rounds. Because we went the first round. You come back 2 weeks later. You know, he'd pick me up. We'd get in the car, and I'd just be writing material on the drive. Get there and just say whatever it is that I wrote in the car. Win first, go on to the next round. And this goes on until we get to the finals. Ended up winning the finals. Prize was like a little bit of money. I got to open up for Rich Voss, who was just here.
Yeah, he was just at the store, right?
Yeah. Because I had picked Patrice. But Patrice had passed away a couple months before he was scheduled to be at the club. And so then I picked Rich because he had the Opie Anthony thing with Patrice. And so it was off and running from there. I did Caroline's on Broadway, ended up doing the Broadway Comedy Club, Boston Comedy Festival.
Was it because from winning that, did it get you like opportunities at the other places, or like once you won that, you were like, oh, I'm going, and then you started trying to figure out your way to get on stage?
And then I was stuck at that club for like a couple months, where it's like, because it was the only club I knew. And I had met Guy Torrey there, and so then Guy plugged me in to Caroline's on Broadway. So I did Caroline's on Broadway. And I think her name was Linda Johnson. She plugged me into the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. So I ended up doing a set down there for Jay Phillips and Flavor Flav and a bunch of other people. Flav paid for me to stay at extra night because he was just so like, oh my God, I want to see you again. Then it was
what? That doesn't even make sense. That's awesome. That doesn't.
It's just timing. It's just luck, timing.
Right place, right jokes.
Yeah. And I mean, comedy is it's always just been who I am. So it's not like it's not something I really take credit for. I think God was like, I'm not going to make him good looking, so I'll make him funny.
Yeah, so, I feel that one. I felt like I was always the chubby kid that could make him laugh, and that's what I had going for me.
I was like dark before it was fashionably cool. Like I grew 6 inches in college, so I was like 21 and 5'6". And then between 21 and 22, I grew 6.5 inches.
That's a big year. That's a jump.
It was a great year. It was the best year of my life.
You literally went from looking up to looking down on people.
Yeah. It's like my freshman, sophomore year, girls would be like, oh my God, he's so funny. And they would hang out with me, and people would invite me to parties because they were like, oh, he's funny. He'll make everybody laugh. And then at the end of the party, they would migrate off in the rooms and everybody would hook up. And I'd get stuck on a couch with this girl, and she'd be like, tell me jokes. And I'd be like, I'm trying to have sex like everybody else. And she'd be like, you're
so funny. She was like, that's the funniest thing.
Yeah, that's literally what he said. Oh my God, that's so funny. And
you're like, I mean it.
Yeah. Then I grew 6.5 inches, and I went back my junior year, and everyone was kind of like, who is this? Who is this? And girls are like, hey. And I was like, fuck you.
And so where was that again? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in between North Carolina, New Jersey, and New York, but I did college in Atlanta.
Okay. And then what was like, do you have siblings? What was that like?
Oh, I have 6 sisters, 3 brothers. But I grew up with my older sister and one of my younger brothers. I'm the oldest boy. Okay. So I have 3 younger brothers. So,
and then older sisters.
And one older sister, and the rest of my sisters are younger than me. So I'm the second oldest child.
Wow.
Oldest boy.
That's a busy household.
No, my father was a hoe. So it was like my biological father, my mother split.
Yeah.
After they had me and my sister, and then my father just spread his seed all over the place. And so I got like 5 other sisters from 2 other women, and then I got another brother from another woman, and then my mother had one more kid. So.
And was dad around? Like, hey, everything's no.
Me and my father have never had a relationship. We used to actually live like maybe a quarter of a mile from each other. I would walk past his house on the way to school every morning.
And you knew it.
And I knew it. And because my brothers and sisters all went to the same school, and we just didn't speak. We never speak to me. So
that couldn't have been easy.
I wasn't one of those. I was a weird ghetto kid. Because like normally I see the posters and they'd be like, you know, kids wonder about their father when he just walks out. I never wondered about my father.
Is that because you knew? Because he was like, oh, there he is. He's just an asshole over there. Like, did you not like him? Did you hate him? Was there anger towards him?
No, I don't. To this day, I don't have a feeling towards my father. My mother never spoke bad about him. I just, as a kid, I was concerned with, you know, playing G.I. Joe and watching TV and, you know, basketball and girls and things like that. Yeah, it was like, I don't have a dad, but that was like one less person to tell me what to do. So I just never really thought about it.
And now was mom hustling to just provide?
Yeah.
So was mom around or no?
My mother? Yeah. She was always around. There was a couple times where she'd miss like talent shows and things like that I did because she worked 2 jobs. But outside of that, she was there pretty much for mostly everything we did.
And what were you doing in these talent shows?
I sang in a talent show once. I was Scrooge in a musical once. I went out for a Tiny Tim, but ended up getting Scrooge. I was in a church choir for a couple of years. I was color guard.
So you've been performing in some fashion
your entire life. My entire life.
Like even as a kid, were you the kid? Like were you kind of the kid moving around, dancing, making people laugh, singing, doing stuff? Your
no, I was a nerd. So when I wasn't performing, I would always be in my house like programming computers, or I tried to rewrite the encyclopedia one year. I rewrote the dictionary. I copied the dictionary one year through my summer.
What gives you even the thought to try to do that? Because you're like, I'm going to learn all these words, and the best way to learn all of these words is to literally just copy it A to Z.
That was it.
And it was with the intent of like, I want to learn these words.
Yeah, and every day I would pick 5 words, and I would use them in a sentence, and I would use words even my mother didn't know the definition of, and she'd just be like, could you shut up? But that was, so I was never like that, you know, but anytime there was something going on at the school, I wanted to be a part of it because it meant I didn't have to do chores, because it gave me ability to stay after school later. And
because if you were home, there were things to do. Yeah, but if you were at school, your mom's like, well, I guess he's at school. He's busy.
Yeah.
And it's school stuff. It's not, you're not hanging out with friends. Like you're keeping busy with like academic things, extracurricular school stuff.
If it was like friend stuff, my mother would be like, no, come in, take out the trash, clean your room, go clean the bathroom, like that kind of stuff. If it was school stuff, she was always just like,
so you were working the system.
Yeah, pimping it.
And copying the dictionary and the encyclopedia. Did you get the did you do the encyclopedia too?
I got A through C done.
Because that's like multiple books at that point.
In the summer. Okay. I hated homework. So what I would do is when I would get my books in the beginning of the year, I would spend the first 3 weeks doing the entire book. Like, so every chapter summary and every question at the end of the book, I would just do the whole book.
So you'd read the whole book.
Yeah.
And do all the questions, all the things that's in it. So just then, you're done.
So I don't have any homework. Teachers be like, oh, this is homework. My mother, I'd be like, did you do homework? I'd be like, Mom, I did the book. And so I just be done with it. Then I could do what I wanted to do.
Where the hell did you learn this hack? That's a hack. That's a hack I never even considered. I never knew. Not like that's some next level shit.
I didn't want to be annoyed. Like the first couple of years, it was just like kindergarten through like fourth grade, more second through fourth or fifth, it was annoying. My mother was always like, did you do your homework? Did you do your homework? Did you turn your homework in? And the teachers would always be like, oh, do just the even numbers. And I just was like,
I just did it all.
I'm done with this. Yeah. So when I entered fifth grade, I remember because it was fifth grade, I was at PS 30 in Jersey. And I was just like, yeah, from now on, I'm just like, as soon as you hand me the book, I'm just going to do the book. Be done with it as quickly as I can. Because I figured we could do the book, but teachers were like dragging it out for a whole year.
So you always felt like listen, I don't need you to take this long.
Yeah.
We can get through this faster.
Yeah, I was like, I understand job security and everything, but you literally could teach this to us in about 3 weeks.
But do you think that's interesting? See, I always had the notion of like, I would look at my teacher, well, like, are they teaching to the lowest common denominator? And that's where you were bored out of your mind because you're like, should you have been 2 grades ahead? So
my mother, they had offered to skip me when I was in first grade to fourth grade. My mother was
first to fourth?
Yeah, my mother's like, no.
You would have been a 7-year-old surrounded by 10 to 11-year-olds.
Yeah, my mother's like, no. But her reasoning was because she was like, you would pass your sister academically, and I don't want your sister to feel some type of way. So this argument happens between my mother and the school till I get to fifth grade. And in fifth grade, they were like, well, they had opened up a gifted and talented school. So they were like, can we stick him in a gifted and talented school? He'd have to bus over to the gifted and talented school. My mother's like, yeah, but his sister has to go. And they're like, so they allowed it because like fourth grade was really hard for me because discipline was crazy. I had nothing to do.
You were bored.
I'd be in school all day long. The book's all done,
and you know it. It's not like it's not like they can ask you a question you don't know.
No.
And your sister apparently did not get that gene.
No. So
how'd you guys get along?
I love my sister. My sister's my hero. As a kid, we got along great. We had some rocky teen years. She went through, she ain't the brightest person I know. She went through some really tough teen, like rebellious type years with my parents. And so she would do stuff like sneak out the house, but she would leave at like 6 p.m. And she'd be like,
it's not really sneaking out. That's just leaving.
She'd just get dressed in the bathroom. She'd come, I'd be in the kitchen washing the dishes. She'd be like, I'm going to take out the trash for you tonight. And I'd look at her, she'd be fully dressed, and I'd be like, okay. And so I just walk past my mother. I'd be like, I'm going to bed now. And she'd be like, you're sleepy? It's 6 o'clock. And yes, I'm very tired. And
fully dressed.
And I would just go to bed. My mother would wake me up at like 1 in the morning. And it was like the Gestapo. She'd like have a flashlight. She pointed at my face. She'd say, where's your sister at? And I'd be like, in her bed? And she'd be like, if she was in her bed, I wouldn't be here asking you. Get in the car. We'd get in the car. We'd find my sister at some house party. My mother would literally leave the house party, go back home, put on the most ridiculous outfit you could find.
She'd find the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
As detective mom.
Yeah.
And then go home and be like, we're about to embarrass the shit out of this kid.
And that's literally what she would do. I mean, she'd have on like a teddy, a house robe, some just furry slippers on one foot, like bath shoes on the other foot. And she would walk through the driveway and stop every kid. She said, have you seen Marissa? I'm her mother. I'm looking for her. I'm going to kick her ass.
She was getting extra kids.
Yeah. She would just made sure every kid knew who she was. And I was like, Mom, I go to that school too.
Yeah, you're fucking with me now.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't send you to school for a reputation. She would snatch my sister off the dance floor or wherever she was at. As soon as my sister get in the car, she started crying. She'd be like, why are you dressed like that? And I'd be like, tell me about it. Could you please stop sneaking out? She's
fucking with your world too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But outside that, no, my sister she's my hero. She like growing up as a kid, she protected me from everybody. I grew up in like Jersey, and I was a little kid, like physically, and boys, girls would be like, we're gonna jump on Jarwan when we see him. And my sister would be like, you're not gonna jump on my brother, and she'd jump on whatever. So
she had your back the whole time.
Always.
That's wonderful. I mean, that's great. And then that creates a tight bond. That creates that the closeness there. Yeah. Even with the rough times, you still know that like if shit went down. Yeah. So you brought up that you would like mentor kids. How did you get into that?
I lived upstate New York for a while, and I noticed the kids just started like getting into petty crime and things like that. But there wasn't a lot for the kids who didn't play sports to do. And so I've always been cool with the kids. The kids have always gravitated towards me. I had a big house. I'd had every video game system. The kids could come over and play. They could always talk very real to me. I was never one of the people to be like, don't smoke weed. I'd be like, look, smoking weed's probably not for you. Revisit this in a couple years when it's more.
Your brain's still developing. Yeah.
And so the kids always respected me. I would never tell them like, don't have sex. I'd be like, wear a condom.
Yeah.
You know, I'd tell the boys, don't trust these hoes. Like I would always speak their language. So they always would gravitate towards me. And I went to the Y, said, hey, I want to put together a program where the boys can come in. We could teach them some life skills. You know, we could help them with, you know,
and you're like
academics.
30 something.
Yeah.
And what were you doing at this point?
I was a web designer and a search engine optimization specialist, but I owned my own companies.
So you were a contractor. You were doing work and consulting, kind of like is that what you mean?
So this was shortly after 9/11.
Okay.
And the whole country, for whatever reason, was like, and I need websites and stuff like that, but I don't want it to come from anywhere outside of the U.S. And so I was like, okay. And what I would do is I would go out and I would secure the sale. So I would say, okay, give me, you know, $3,500 for your website. And I would just outsource it to like India. There's actually this guy named MTIs who I would outsource like probably 95% of the work to. So he'd do all the work. I would just be the front man here in the States. So it allowed me the time to mentor kids all day.
Yeah.
My whole entire day is free. And so I did that for about 7 or 8 years.
That's amazing. And that was because you had the tech background. Like you said, as a kid, you were programming, doing stuff like that. And this was this was after college. So it was after Atlanta. You went back up to upstate New York. You start doing this. And like, did you start out doing it yourself? Did you start out doing the web design and stuff? And then you realize like, this is work. Like, how did you?
I'm not very artistic when it comes to visual art.
Okay.
And so I started out doing it myself, and I was doing a lot of copying of other people's websites, and I was probably putting out C-level work. And I just realized, I was like, you know what? This is better suited if I just hand it off to someone else. Mm-hmm. And Craigslist was the thing back then. And so I found this guy on Craigslist who was a developer, but he was out of India. And he was like, yeah, he would charge me like maybe 20% of what I was taking in. Mm-hmm. And I started generating so much business for him. Like he then employed his wife and like 2 of his other relatives. And so I just ended up doing that for like 8 years. When I decided I wanted to go back to corporate America, I just basically sold him the Black Book. And I said, look, here's all the contacts that, you know, paranoia has died down.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't, so I don't want to work with anybody not American. They're all terrorists.
Yeah. It got weird for a bit there.
Yeah, it did.
And you found that that's amazing. Right. So then you start a program at the YMCA for young men. Now, is there any form of that goes back to not having dad around? Do you think? Is there any part of you that's like, I wish I would have had somebody there just being like, hey, don't do that. You're fucking up. Because you weren't parenting the guys. Like you said, you were talking to them. You were talking to the young people, which I think is something that like a lot of parents don't do.
I don't think I missed anything. My mother was exceptional, and she was like my role model. The only thing I ever wanted to be as a kid was my mother. I wanted to walk like her. I wanted to talk like her. You know, she had this corporate swag about her because she was a lawyer for Ernst & Whinney, which is now Ernst & Young. And so everything about her, I just wanted to be. I didn't have mental real estate for a father, I don't think. So I don't think I missed anything. You know, life lessons, my mother gave them to me. You know, my mother was always really real. You know, I remember one summer I wanted to just go out and play. She was like, you need to learn how to cook. And I was like, Mom, I'm a boy. I'm not going to stay in the house and learn how to cook. It's summer. She was like, Jesse, let me talk to you. Jesse's my first name. Right. She said, you're not a very attractive young boy.
Holy shit.
You probably going to grow up and not be a good looking dude. And you love to eat. You're not going to get a girlfriend. Do you have a girlfriend now? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, 1, because you don't wipe very well. And 2, because you're not.
Your mom was very real with you.
Yeah,
she was not like, messing around.
Stay in and cook, and I stayed in and cook. I was like, I'm ugly. I have to learn to cook. I love to eat. And yeah, my mother. There wasn't a life lesson. I was probably 11. My mother came in, and she had a boyfriend at the time, and I guess they had a bad night, and I didn't know about it. She sits on the edge of my bed. I wake up. I'm like, Mom, are you okay? And she's like, when you get older, what I need you to know is, as a man, you'll always be able to get yours. a woman might not always be able to get hers. So maybe you should start out by eating her pussy. And I was like 11. I had no idea.
This is good logic, though. This is good. This is good info.
At 11, I had no idea.
But you still don't even know what you mean.
I was like,
I love that she didn't even wait till the next day. She was like, "Listen, this just happened."
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Jesse needs to know this info.
Right
like
now.
immediately.
Yeah, immediately.
Wake up, buddy. We need to talk.
And I never, I didn't even know what she was talking about. Like, and I grew up in the hood, so I hit puberty late. So my voice changed when I grew. So my voice doesn't change till I'm like 22. So from like
22.
Yeah. So from like childhood to 21, I sound like Michael Jackson. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know, and my barbers would give me shit all the time. I couldn't grow facial hair. Other 16-year-olds had facial hair. I couldn't grow facial hair, and they would be like, you know why you can't grow facial hair and why your voice is that way? And I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, because you need to eat pussy. And I'd be like, I'm never going to eat pussy. That's disgusting. It was literally like that. Like, so
what in the world?
I never missed. Well, there was enough guys in the hood who just looked out for me. They called me Books because I carry books all the time. And if I wanted to get in trouble, they'd be like, nah, Books, you can't get in trouble. Like, you're going to get out of here. You're smart. So
they were pushing you. So they were providing some structure, some support, really.
Yeah. Protection, support. You know, I probably, as a kid, I think I maybe got into maybe 8 or 9 fights. I think the rest of the kids probably got in 50. So, yeah. Now
and I'm guessing you didn't start those fights.
No. I've never started a fight.
Yeah, me either.
No.
I've never seen.
I was little. So I remember I was in 7th grade, and we got a new student named Bruce. And for some reason, Bruce was like 18. And I remember he wore wife beaters.
7th grade.
Yeah. And he wore wife beaters to school. And I was like, I don't even think that's legal. And we were going to class one day, and he's like, did you study last night? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right, good. I'm going to cheat off your test because I didn't study. And I was like a good kid. So I was like, you're not going to cheat on my test. Like, he's like, look, if I don't cheat on your test, I'm going to kick your ass after school. And I was like, you're not going to cheat on my test. I'm not worried about it. And so we're sitting there, we're taking the test, and Bruce looks over at my page. And so I kind of turned my shoulder a little bit to protect my page so he couldn't see it. And so he kind of like nudges my desk with his foot. And he's like, ugh. And I go, Bruce, please stop looking at my test. I'm trying to take my test. And the teacher's like, Bruce, I need you to keep your eyes on your test. He immediately starts doing the, I'm going to kick your butt at 3 o'clock.
Right, yeah.
Right? It was so weird because it was the class right before lunch. Lunch, everyone's running around like, oh man, Jarwan's gonna fight Bruce. Jarwan's gonna fight Bruce. I was like, he's a grown man. Like why are we?
There's an adult's about to hit a kid.
Yeah, and I was lucky because there was another kid named Derek. He was not very bright either. He got left back a couple times, and he was like, yo, Bruce is too old to be fighting you. He's like, I'm gonna fight for you after school. And he had a crush on my sister too, though. And I was like, okay. And so I walked to the fight, and Bruce and Derek got into a fight. Bruce just started beating the shit out of Derek. And so when he started drowning Derek's head in his water puddle, I kind of just like made an exit and ran home.
So you're like, I'm of no assistance here.
Yeah. Luckily he got arrested though, for the fight, and got expelled from the school. So
jeez.
Yeah.
That's a day.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think I would have missed my father had I had to fight Bruce, but
but also you're smart enough to be like, I'm out. I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't for me.
Yeah.
This clearly isn't. So, all right. So then you go off. Well, when was like, if you're this scrawny kid, you sound like Michael Jackson. You're small. Were there any girls in high school?
In high school?
Yeah.
No,
nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Well, one, I'm a nerd, right? And
there's nerdy girls.
No.
No one's at the band. You weren't hanging out with the band girls or something. That was like always kind of like.
I was in the band. So was my sister.
Yeah. What'd you play?
I played the flute.
Nerdy fuck.
And I played drums. But I wanted to play the flute because my sister played the flute. So I started out playing the flute, and then I just ultimately migrated over to the drums later. But yeah, no girls. You can't get girls with a flute. I didn't know that at the time. And when I grew up, girls liked the dumb guy in class. And I tried that for 1 year, but my teacher snitched me out. She called my house and told my mother. My mother's like, Jesse, 6 times 6 is bacon. And I was like,
So you're trying to be funny and dumb.
no, I was just trying to be dumb. Like, I wanted to be the dumbest kid. I was like, there was a girl named Kia Pace and Julia Atkinson had the biggest crush on these two girls. And they liked Bruce. And I was like,
That was always it was always so mind blowing that you talk to these girls and the guy that they liked, you're like, this fucking idiot.
Yeah.
This is what you're into.
I mean, I get that he drove to school, but I was like, but we're in 7th grade though.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not supposed to be driving here. He shouldn't be here.
and I had asked him, I was like, why are you in our grade? And he's like, I started school late. I was like, no one starts that late. So
Wow. So nothing in high school. What about college? You go off to college before the growth spurt. All of a sudden it was kind of, because I'm guessing that was a fresh start. You weren't known as Books. You weren't the nerdy guy. You got to be Jesse. Nobody knew who Jesse was. You get to show up and kind of start a whole new thing. What was that like?
I'm still short. I did, one of my girlfriends, she hooked me up with one of her friends. That was a girl who apparently had a crush on me. She was like 5'1". She was
So you were tall for her.
I was very tall for her. She wasn't very attractive. But you know, beggars can't be choosy. So we had actually hooked up, and that was like the second time I'd ever had sex.
Well, what was the first time? We skipped something.
I had sex like way younger, when I was like 15, 16. It was
okay. Well, something happened. We missed that part.
We were playing like this truth or dare kind of thing. It wasn't like she liked me, she just lost. And
I've never heard of truth or dare ending up with penetration.
And projects we played, hide and go get, it ended up with penetration. We played house, it ended up with penetration. I didn't play a lot of these games because most times they were like, Jesse's gonna play. The girls were like, I'm going home. And so
but one time,
one time, Tanya, I remember her name.
Tanya.
Yeah, she licked me at the end of it, like from like my jawline to my temple. She just licked me like a Scooby snack.
After you had,
yeah, I was disgusted. I was
that was the part you were grossed out by.
Yes, I thought for sure. I mean, I saw coochie for the first time.
Did you eat it?
No.
Your mother was probably very upset.
I didn't eat coochie till I was like 28.
Why? What's the holdup?
I just thought it was gross.
And now?
I love it now. But then I thought, I was like, I'm a master now. Like
yeah, like
books,
anything
like,
else. You read some books. Yeah. I read the books.
Yeah. So, and it's so funny.
Wow.
So Kiki's in college. We have sex once because it was so good.
This is 5'1".
Yeah.
This is 5. Okay.
It was so good. I was like, I can't do this again. Like, because anything she asked me to do, I'm willing to do for that.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it's a powerful. Yeah. It's a powerful thing. You find out that like, oh, I will. Yeah, like you said, I'll do. What do you need?
So my housemates, anytime she would come over, I'd be like, tell them I'm not here. And
because you knew you were gonna be hooked.
Yeah, I knew for a fact I was gonna be. I knew she could have my student refund. I knew, like,
here's my meal plan card, whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever she needed. I was like, yeah, I was 100% sure. And I was like, I can't afford to throw this all away right now.
Were you smart enough then to be using a condom and stuff like that, or
yeah
okay?
Yeah. I lose my mother early. My mother died HIV positive. So when I entered college, my mother's already been gone. She's been gone for 1.5 years, 2 years.
So how old were you when she died then?
I was 16 when my mother left. 16, 17.
Wow.
So then on, I was just like, safe sex. So
wow. 16, 17.
Yeah.
Mom dies of that. Was that a long thing? Did you know?
It was 4 years. She told us when I was 13. And she was in the hospital for about 30 days. She came out of the hospital. She called us all into the house. My brother is 8 at the time. My sister's 14. I'm 13. She was like, I'm dying. And we were like, what? Because like at that age, you think your mother's going to live forever. My mother was young because she had us young. She had my sister. She was 16. She had me. I was 17. She was 17. She had my brother. She was 22. So,
and she's still in it. Like she kicked ass and became a lawyer.
Yeah.
And took care. Wow. Yeah. So I see why you wanted to be your mom. I mean, she killed it. And then
this
happens.
Yeah.
And you're 13 years old.
Yeah. And this is at the time where, like, we don't know a lot about HIV, so
it's not really
like,
treatable yet.
You can't talk to people about it because kids on the school bus had jokes, not knowing that my mother,
right.
you know, and you know, I think the president for the first time had said it, and that was like a big deal. And you know, there were billboards. You didn't know if you could catch it from like touching each other. So my mother would go through these phases where she'd buy her own dishes, and then she'd like have her own laundry. She wouldn't use our laundry detergent. She wouldn't hug us some days, and so it was like because she didn't want to give it to us,
right?
And then she's young and she's dealing with the fact that physically she's just deteriorating really fast because there's no drugs at the time. And on top of that, mentally, she's just trying to process, you know, because my brother's only 8. So she's like, I have an 8-year-old about to leave in this world. You know, I have a 13-year-old, I have a 14-year-old.
Meanwhile, she's still working and providing as much as she can.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was crazy. So then she left. So sex wasn't a big thing for me because in my mind, especially at that age, I was like, sex can kill you.
And was she open with you? Like, this is how I got it. You need to be safe. Yeah. Like this.
Yeah, she made us dangerous get tests like every 6 months, even though we weren't having sex.
But that might have been just like the fear of like with her and being around, and we didn't know as much. And
yeah. And then she would constantly just give us literature, you know, about sex and safe sex and, you know, STDs and things like that. So.
Wow. And so that's 16, your older sister 17.
Yeah.
Mom passes away. Mm-hmm. What is between that? Because I'm guessing you're a junior in high school?
Yep.
So what do you do for the rest of the junior and senior? Who do you live with? Where do you go?
So this
How does that
crazy.
happen?
My brother goes to live in foster care. My mother kind of had willed him to a lady that was in foster, that was taking care of him.
Because he's 8. He's got a long way to go. You guys are kind of at the end.
Yeah. My sister got engaged. She was having she had a baby, my nephew, and she got engaged, was living with her boyfriend. The state wanted to take me. I didn't want the state to take me, so I ran away. And I stayed homeless for a year. I slept in a bus depot literally with homeless dudes for a year, and they would wake me up every morning
to go to school.
Yeah. I had a book bag, I had a big black trench coat, I had like maybe 2 or 3 pairs of jeans and a couple shirts, and I would go to my best friend's house after his mom left for work. He would let me shower there, you know, eat a little breakfast, whatever. Then I would just go to school. I would bum, you know, $1 or so off of a couple friends, you know, just get some lunch money. I would get lunch.
Do you think the teachers knew? Did anyone know?
My best friend knew.
And that was it.
When the winter came, he snitched me out because he's just like, you can't sleep outside. And his mother wasn't going to let me stay there. So he snitched me out. I ended up in an independent living program that Wake County in Raleigh, North Carolina had sponsored. I stayed there for about 4 or 5 months before I ran away from that.
Why'd you leave there?
I just didn't like the rules. I didn't like the setting.
What was it? Like, what does that look like?
It was like, so we had a guy, his name was Charlie, he lived downstairs. We had an apartment upstairs. It was me, I had a housemate, Donald, and there was another housemate with 2 other guys, another apartment with 2 other guys. They would teach us how to do laundry. We would hit the grocery store every Saturday, and they would give us these $30 vouchers, and they would teach us how to buy vegetables and, you know, do laundry, things like that. But we had curfews, and the curfews were on a tiered system. So the longer you were in the program, the later your curfew got. I just didn't like the curfew at all, so I just left.
Were you surrounded by like, these are all like recovering addicts or things like that? Like, you're a kid.
These were juvenile delinquents.
All juveniles.
So yeah, they were kids who kind of got in legal trouble and for whatever reason couldn't go home, or the state just decided this was the better alternative for them. So they were there.
Wow. And you were like, no,
yeah,
this isn't, no one's telling me what to do. So you went back on the street?
Yeah. I went back on the street.
Still getting, I'm guessing, good grades. Yeah. Still doing the work. Still.
Yeah.
Were you still involved? Did you do sports as well?
I didn't do sports
because you were small.
My senior year of high school, I did basketball. But prior to that, no, I moved to the projects because I was doing once I left the independent living program, I moved to the projects and I was staying with some friends. And that was it. But I mean, it was weird because I grew up in the projects. And so I'm in the projects, I think, from the time I can remember people till about 7 or 8. But then my mother's career starts to pan out. So now all of a sudden we go like to upper middle class. And then my mother passed away and I ended up back in the projects. I always tell people it's funny because like I learned the N-word when I was in upper middle class, like in books. So when I finally went back to the projects and everyone's using the N-word, I would pronounce the R. And people would be like, no, that's not the way you say it. I'm like, that's the way it's spelled, though. And
you're like, no, it's right here.
That's
it's
what I
right
learned
here.
Yeah, I remember writing this. So, yeah.
Wow. And then so you finish, and at this point, like, do you see... Like, was this all just a means to an end? Did you have a plan? Were you like, I'm getting out and like I'm gonna go to college or something? Because like you know you're smart.
I didn't want to go to college. My senior year, I get expelled. I hit a teacher, and
for what?
A bunch of students and I were like sitting in a hallway after lunch break, and they were like horse playing, but I'm like talking to this girl, and our teacher is yelling at them to get behind this line. But I'm not paying attention to this guy at all because as far as I know, I was behind the line. And he walked up and he shoved me. But when he shoved me from the side because like, and so I didn't see him. I thought he was one of the kids that were horse playing. So I just turned around and clocked him and laid him out. And I didn't go well. A female teacher came over and she said, in all of my years of teaching, I'd never seen anything like that. And I was like, in all my years of being a student, I've never seen anything like that. And she was like, you just knocked the teacher out. And I was like, well, he put his hands on me. Yeah. He had no right to put his hands on me. She was like, so if I put my hands on you, you'd have knocked me out too. I was like, absolutely. And she was like, well, let me remind you that, I'm a woman and I'm a teacher. I'm going to ask you again, if I put my hands on you, you would have knocked me out.
This almost sounds like she's baiting you.
Yeah.
At this point, she's like, what is it? The rest of this question doesn't make sense.
But I was like, absolutely.
Yeah. You put your hands on me. Yeah.
But part of that was I lost my mom and I was kind of like, no one anymore can raise me. Like, it is me who protects me. It is me who determines what I get to do. So no, you can't touch me, no, under no circumstance, because like I'm in the hood.
Nor is it appropriate, by the way. Teachers should not be putting their hands on you, should not be shoving you, should not be.
I didn't even think about that part then. It was just my mentality at that point in time, because like I don't have older brothers. So it's like when I would get into altercations with grown men, it was just me to deal with those altercations. Yeah. And so my whole position was like, no one's going to touch me. And I just kept a chip on my shoulder. I kept that for a while though.
And then so she asked you again, let me remind you, I'm a woman, I'm a teacher. If I put my hands on you and you were.
And I was like, yeah.
And then she was like, you're what, expelled?
Yeah, drug me to the principal's office.
Put her hands on you?
Yeah.
Lady, I just told you. But you held off. You didn't punch her in the face. No. Yeah.
I get to the principal's office. He suspends me. He said, yeah.
Did he even listen to you? Did he even hear you out?
No, because Mr. Furlow's like laid out.
Yeah. And Mr. Furlow also assaulted a child.
3 days into my suspension, I get a letter in the mail from the school board saying that I had to go up and I was going to have this hearing, and they were trying to determine whether or not they were going to expel me. So I get there, and because I don't have any parents, it's just me speaking for me. And they're like, well, who is your guardian? I was like, I don't have one. And they were like,
you're 17?
17, yeah. I have my own apartment because by then I'm getting an annuity from my parents passing away and things like that. So
you actually rebuilt a life. You had an apartment. You were like you were living on your own.
Yeah, and I was selling a little bit of marijuana. And so
subsidizing your life. Yeah. Got it. A side business, a hustle.
So I wasn't gonna go to school. I wasn't gonna go to college. I was gonna just stay. Because I'm not 17. I'm on an apartment. I got a big TV and, couches and furniture and all this cool stuff. And
You're comfortable.
Free. And, I'm like, no one can tell me what to do. And
were you smoking the weed too or just selling it?
I've never smoked weed.
You were selling it and never even tried it?
I've never tried it. I've never even experimented. I've never tried it. Like to this day.
Do you drink?
Yeah. I started drinking when I was like 28, 29.
But never smoked?
No.
No interest?
No.
Okay.
Smoking always made people look boring. Like they always look sleepy. And I was like, well, why would you want to go someplace and look sleepy? I don't have a problem sleeping. And so if somebody would have introduced me to like cocaine, I'd have probably done that because like that looks hype. And I always wanted to be animated at height. Yeah. So crack just had a bad look on it because you got really small and your butt left and you were going to have to suck a dick behind a dumpster. And I was like, I don't want to do none of that.
Yeah, that leads to...
Yeah. And the meth, you had to like dig out your skin. Like if somebody was just offering me some coke, I'd probably be real fucked up right now.
Good thing they didn't.
Yeah. So I wasn't gonna go, And it was so funny because a bunch of the drug dealers and OGs in the hood stopped at my apartment one day, and they're like, we hear you're not going to go to college. And I was like, yeah, because it was right after I got expelled. I was like, I don't have any interest in going to college. I'm going to just stay here, kind of be like you guys, just live the life. And they're like, we're going to jump you. And I was like, what? And they're like, when the semester opens, Books, if you're not in a college somewhere, every time we see you on the street, we're going to jump you and beat you like you're a stranger. And I was like, yeah.
And this is a group of them.
Yeah. And one, Kevin, scariest dude, like he's like the boogeyman.
But he saw you and saw potential and saw that we need to light a fire under this kid's ass and get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And so after they told me that, I signed up for my GED like the next day. Took my GED a couple weeks later, passed it, applied to Georgia Tech, applied to DeVry in Atlanta, got accepted to both, and I was just off and gone.
And then when you got there, again, where it's like a fresh start.
Yeah.
And what did you study? What did you want to do? I mean, if you were playing computers and all that, you were always like tech.
I was an electronics engineering major.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry.
What was your, did you have a plan, or you were like, it interests me, I'll just do that?
That was it. I was like, well, I want to go the path of least resistance because I really don't want to be here. And
I just don't want to get my ass kicked.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, computer science and engineering come really easy to me. It comes really easy in my brain for whatever reason. So I was like, I'll just take that. And I just did that.
And then you get a degree, you get out.
Yep.
Where do you go?
Arrows. Well, as a senior, I get engaged.
You fell in love.
Yeah. I'm working at General Motors. I fall in love with this girl that works at the Subway we go to during lunch. And I come home from work one day and she's crying. And I'm like, hey, sweetheart, what's wrong? And she had moved in with me. I had a townhouse. I had a couple cars. So I'm doing pretty good. And she's like, I hate my job. I really want to do something different with life. And she literally worked this Subway like 10 in the morning, like 1:30 in the afternoon, 4 days a week. So I'm like, well, just quit your job then. She's like, I can just quit my job. I'm like, yeah, you can quit your job. I'm like, and I'm not going to change. Like, I'm still going to be flowers and teddy bears, and we're still going to go to dinners. And, it's not like we take your money and pay any bills around here. So, like, everything's going to be good. She's like, okay. She immediately starts clubbing. Like,
going out. She's partying.
Sunday to Sunday, just partying. I get off work at 6. I pass her. She's going out. I wake up in the morning. I leave for work 6:30. I pass her. She's coming in. This goes on for like.
At this point, you're not even together, really. You're not even dating, really. That's.
This goes on for like, I don't know, a couple months. And one day we're passing at the door. I'm going to work. I turn back around, and I'm like, hey, Moni, what guy were you with last night? She's like, I wasn't with a guy last night. And I was like, I don't have a lot of time because I go to work. I just need you to tell me what guy you were with last night and we can talk about it later. She's like, I knew you weren't as cool as you said you were about me going out. I knew you were going to eventually start tripping. I was like, okay, if you weren't with a guy last night, how'd you get the hickey on your neck? She's like, the what? Take her to the bathroom. And not only she has hickey on one side of her neck, she has hickey on the other side of her neck. And she's like, promise me you won't be mad. And I have this thing where I never break a promise. This day I've never broken a promise. So
that's impressive.
I'm like, I don't make a lot of them.
Right, okay.
But I was like, I had a promise. And she's like, I was hanging out with some girlfriends. I met this dude. I remember these words exactly. She said, I kissed him. I sucked his dick. I fucked him. I'm sorry.
Don't be mad. Listen, don't be mad. Promise me you're not going to be mad. I love that sentence. I kissed him. I sucked his dick. I fucked him.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. She did apologize at the end.
That's true. That's true. Were you mad?
No.
Did you appreciate the honesty?
No.
Did you immediately tell her to get the fuck out of your house?
No.
What are you doing?
I go to work. I'm at work and my stomach is trying out for the Olympic gymnastic team. It's just flipping.
Yeah.
I just have this sick feeling.
Yeah.
But I have work to do. And my grandmother called me that day. My grandmother's never called me ever in my life. And she calls me and she says, and she didn't know my fiance. And she says, baby, I'm worried about you. I said, why? She said, I know, you lost your mother. Ever since then, you've been doing everything the way you're supposed to be doing. She's like, but I think that you're going to end up alone. She said, you're looking for a perfect person. There are no perfect people. You need to accept the flaws of others.
It's a hell of a day to tell me that, Grandma.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a day.
I totally take that message home with me. And I sit down, I say, hey, what can we do to try to work this out? And she's like, you know, you work all the time, you know, I don't really get a lot of time with you. We were working on this chain link project for General Motors, and I was probably working 60 hours a week. And I was like, all right, fine, this is what I'm gonna do. I'll start working half days on Fridays. We'll go to brunch, we'll go to movies, we'll hang out, we'll get your nails done, we'll do anything you want to do. Saturday, we'll wake up, we hit the amphitheater, we'll catch some shows, you know, go get your hair done, you know, go shopping, go hit a park, do anything you want to do. Sunday, you know, church, whatever you want to do, blah, blah, blah. We would do all these things, but the night would come and she'd go to the club. And I didn't club at the time because it wasn't my
You got
vibe.
work to do.
Yeah, and it wasn't my vibe.
But she was doing that like Saturday, you'd spend this wonderful day together, and then Saturday night she'd go out all night.
Yeah. Sunday, spend a wonderful day together. Church, you know, she'd, you know, repent for what she did Saturday night.
And do you think it was?
I'll do Sunday night.
Was it only the one guy?
No, because this is so. Her cousin comes down. We start planning the wedding. Her cousin comes down to help her plan the wedding. Cousin's a girl, Vaughn. We're really, really good friends. Vaughn calls me one day at work, and she's like, "Are you sitting down?" I was like, "I'm in my office, but I'm not sitting." She's like, "You might want to sit down." So I immediately sit down because I think something happened.
Yeah,
car accident, something like that. She's like, Moni's ex-boyfriend stopped by the house today. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't trip on that kind of stuff. I'm not insecure built.
Yeah.
Like that. She's like, well, she fucked him. I was like, oh. Finish up my work day. I go home. Vaughn's at the house. I don't want to just put on like Vaughn on blast for calling me.
right.
So I'm like, hey, Moni, how'd your day go? She's like, oh my God, it was good. You know, I met with the cake people, met with the florists. You know, I was like, all right, cool. I was like, anybody stop by the house today? And she kind of looked at me like, I think I know what you're asking.
Right.
She's like, yeah, my ex-boyfriend stopped by the house. I was like, oh, tell me about it, right? And Vaughn just stands up and she's like, I already called him and told him that you fucked him. And I looked at her, I was like, did you fuck your ex-boyfriend in my house? And she's like, I don't want to talk about this right now and not in front of her. I tossed Vaughn my keys. I'm like, go somewhere.
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to talk about this. She's like, can we talk about this upstairs in the bedroom? I was like, would that be the bedroom
That you fucked your ex-boyfriend in my bedroom?
Yeah. So we go upstairs, we talk about it. She's like, oh, it doesn't really count as sex. Halfway through the sex, I start crying. He didn't finish. I didn't finish. I realized how, you know, bad it was. I just seen him and we thought we had some feelings that really wasn't there, but we didn't realize we didn't have the feelings until after penetration, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh my God.
My problem. I don't know how to tell my family that I failed. And that's how I looked at it. I was like, if I don't, my family now knows I'm engaged.
And
like,
now if you call it off.
Yeah, then I fail. And I'm like, I've never failed in anything like that. And so I'm like, so I can't call this off.
Even though she's fucking people.
Yeah.
You can't tell your family that she's fucking people? Or is that a failure too?
That's a fact. My friend's like, you chose her. So I was like, I can't call this off. So I'm back at her again, like, whoa. What can we do to make this work? Like, she's like, oh, long story short, this happens 2 more times. The straw that broke the camel's back. I was at the house. It was a Saturday morning. A phone rings. I pick it up. I'm downstairs. She's upstairs. I was like, hey, what up? And this guy's on the phone. He's like, hey, what's up? Is Moni there? And I was like, yeah, who this? Because she didn't have any brothers, and I knew all her male cousins, and I didn't recognize the voice. He's like, is this Jarwan? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh shit, this is Slim. I always told Moni if I had a chance to talk to you, I would thank you. And I was like, I don't follow. He's like, your old lady and you are planning a wedding, right? So she just has your credit cards. You let her spend what she needs to spend to take care of the wedding. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, I want to say thank you for the leather coat. I want to say thank you for the herringbone. I want to say thank you for the Cuban link. I want to say thank you for the rims.
This guy doesn't give a fuck.
Nah.
He's like, I'm not only fucking her.
Yeah.
I'm also, by the way, I've never looked better.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, buddy, I need to thank you because you're a hell of a guy.
I'm gonna get other hoes because of you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not only fucking your lady. I'm fucking more than I've ever fucked, dude. Because I've never looked better.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good because I'm fucking good.
Yeah.
So I, you know what? That guy, that's some fucked up honesty.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said, Moni, I yelled up the stairs, like, yeah, Moni, pick up the phone. She picks up the phone.
You're so calm.
She's like, hello? I'm not, I don't do the temper thing.
But that's not even, I mean, are you feeling anything, Rise? Are you, that's, wow. You just level-headed. Just it's just, you're dealing with information. The emotion's not, it doesn't spike the emotion.
No.
It's just information and we got to solve problems.
Yeah.
So you are a coder. That's the thing. You are a coder. You deal with information and processing things. And okay.
Yeah, even if you talk to my best friends, they'll say, we've seen Jarwan in multiple fights, even as an adult. He's never upset about it. It's just always just a decision. And I'm normally the type to be like, look, I'm done with this conversation here. The next thing we're going to do is violence.
If you choose that.
Are you cool with this? If you're not,
you ask for consent for violence.
We should walk away.
Yeah,
I'll walk away. I'm the type of
because you'll walk away at any moment.
I'll joke first, right? And I'm like, let's just have fun about this. But if you really just want to keep pressing it, so once I give you the
out, the option,
then I'm going to give you the out. Now, if you just I don't want to take the out, then I'm like, all right, we guess we just got to do what we got to do.
Because that's the next.
But I'm not upset about it at all.
Okay.
So no, I wasn't upset.
So she picks up the phone.
Yeah. She's like, oh, hi, hello? And he's like, yo, Money, what's up? It's Slim.
I was just thinking,
I told you if I talked to your man, I was going to tell him. She's like, who? And hangs the phone up.
Who?
So I'm like, Moni, go give me my credit card statements for the last couple months.
You're not even looking?
No. She runs around the house. She brings me page 1 of
6,
2 of another one, and she's like, I just can't find the whole bill. I was like, well, let me check it. Let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I was like, I'm gonna put you in the car. I'm gonna drive you over to a women's shelter. I was like, and you can stay over in the women's shelter, or Slim can come pick you up, or whatever, until I find the credit card bill. Once I find the credit card bill and put it back together, then we can talk about it. But I'm gonna be in no rush to look for it. I'm going to play tennis. And she was like, well, give me a minute. She starts putting it together. All the
finds
bills.
it all miraculously.
$16,000
on just stuff.
Stuff.
In how long? In a couple months?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Wow.
Stomach's on the Olympic gymnastics.
So, but you say you don't get worked up, but your stomach's freak. I mean, you're internalizing everything, but putting on a calm exterior.
Yeah.
So on the inside, you are fired up. Not sick to your stomach.
Sick to my stomach. Not angry. Sick. Hurt.
Because that is hurt. That's dishonest. It's this person that you kept giving rope to. You kept giving extra chances.
Yeah.
And they're just shitting on your chest.
Yeah. So I get hurt, and but
the hurt doesn't lead to anger.
No.
You internalize it. It's all like you said. It's a failure on your end.
So she's gone maybe 3 days. We're supposed to meet my family in North Carolina for Thanksgiving and then drive up to South Carolina to meet her family for the first time. She's gone for 3 days. I call my brother, and this is the first time I told anybody. I told my brother what was going on, and he's like, the fuck is wrong with you? He's like, why wouldn't you have left her after the first time? And I explained the whole situation. He's like, no. He's like, what are you going to do now? I was like, well, we're supposed to be, meeting you guys in North Carolina. He's like, you're not bringing this bitch to North Carolina. And I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell the family? And he's like, how much vacation time you got? I was like, probably 6-7 weeks. I don't take vacation. Mm-hmm. I want you to come back to New York for a couple weeks. He's like, I don't think you can see this situation because you're in this situation.
Yeah.
He's like, come out of the situation for a while. He's like, don't bring this bitch to North Carolina. Da-da-da-da. He's like, I swear to God, if you bring her to North Carolina, as soon as I get out the car, I'm telling everybody the stories. And so I was like, all right. She shows up at the house on Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving. I wake up in the morning, I start packing, and she starts packing. She's like, you ready to go? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. You're not going. I'm going to New York. I'll be gone for a couple weeks. I'm going to think about the situation. I'll let you know what my decision will be in a couple weeks.
Was she? You were just going to let her stay at the house?
She ended up staying at the house. I took a job. I was there in New York for a couple weeks. I was hired by a company called Ithaco, aerospace engineering firm. So I started working for those guys. I just called. I said, look, I paid for the house for 6 more months. So you can stay there for 6 more months. I was like, the furniture, you can keep it, you can sell it. I was like, your ring, you can keep it, you can sell it. I left you one of the cars. My best friend Brad will pick up the other car.
You're the nicest guy in the world.
I just wanted to be done with the situation.
That's you could have been done by saying, get the fuck out. You could have. And that's not even mean. That's not being mean. That's not being angry. That's a logical step.
I didn't know where she would go next.
And you still felt responsible.
I've been homeless before.
Like I said, so you still felt responsible to make sure she was okay, even though she's literally crushed your shit multiple times.
Yeah.
That's big-hearted, man.
One of the feelings that I'll never get over is the feeling of being homeless. If I see a homeless person and he asks me for $5, I give him 20. I'm literally like, and people are like, he's gonna buy crack with it. I'm like, he need crack more than I do. You know, like I know the feeling of waking up and not knowing how you're gonna eat that day or if you're gonna eat that day. I know the feeling of being at the mercy of the weather. I know the feeling of sleeping outside and being at the mercy of an asshole coming by.
What's your worst memory of that? Like, because you said you were like 16, sleeping at the bus station or something with like a bunch of.
I think my worst memory of that is the first night. I'm just walking downtown Raleigh. It's just getting late, and I don't know where.
And this is like, I don't have it. Like, you knew you didn't have anywhere to go, but all of a sudden it's late. Yeah. Now it's like, I need to sleep. I need something.
It's like, I don't know if I was walking around, you know, expecting maybe an angel to show up like, you know, Joseph Smith or something.
Right.
But I was like, as the night got later, I was like, you don't have a place to go. And then I just ended up, you know, in the bus depot because I saw all the homeless people had to create a fire there out of like one of the big metal barrels. And I remember I slept there that night. I woke up the next morning. And I was just like, because it was a weekend, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do for food today because I have no money. And then I slept there that second night, and I was like, this is going to be life. And it was just that fear. It's that pit in your stomach kind of feeling. And I'll never forget that. So.
Was there any emotional breakdown there? Was there any, like, I mean, I can't imagine that.
No. I
can't imagine that.
The greatest pain for me was saying goodbye to my mom. I was there the moment she left. That was the greatest pain for me. I've never felt another pain like that. So everything else, even from being homeless to, you know, the ex-fiance, it pales in comparison. And, it's just forever shaped me. My mother was a very benevolent and generous person. I'm very charismatic, very fun-loving. So, for me to see you walking up the hill and just be like, yo, you ride, and then take you to Ace and da-da-da. It's in me because just of where I've been. So.
Well, it shows. I mean, that was, wow. Damn. So you gave her 6 more months in the house.
Yeah.
And a car.
Yeah.
And
she kept the ring, believe it or not. We didn't talk again for about probably 8 or 9 years. She found me on Facebook.
Did she even try to fight you at all? Was she even like, no, come home, we can work it, like any of that, or just like, okay?
I think if I would have been like, I need you to leave today, she'd be like, no, I love you. But I think because I was like, you have the house for 6 months, you have a car, you have the ring, you have all the furniture in the house.
Right.
And everything's paid for. I think she was just like, Dick, like, I don't have to hide this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it.
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to start throwing parties here.
Yeah. She apologized to me probably 8 or 9 years later. She showed me that she kept the ring. She just told me, she was like, look, I was young, and it happened. And I was like, I was 22 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was 21. So I was like, I get it. It just is what it was. And she's like, I'm different now. You think we? And I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. So,
wow. 8 years later, I'm different now. Like,
and I'm sure
good.
she was different.
I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure she did some growing up.
So crazy. She had a daughter by Slim. And I'm not making that up. And but he left her. And she was like, yeah, I have a daughter now. We go to church, I'm in a different place. Do you think? And I was like, no, I don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I don't wish anything bad on you.
Right, yeah.
I have no ill feelings towards you. That would just be a really bad decision for me. So
then you were in New York when you took that job.
Yeah.
Another aerospace, right?
Yep.
And where'd that lead you to? Because at this point you're 20 something?
I'm
23?
22? 24.
Okay.
So I'm working there. I have an issue with my boss.
What kind of issue?
An N-word issue.
Oh.
And it was weird because I'm making more money than I'd ever made ever. And me and my brother are going out like every Friday. We're having what we call Brothers Day. And we're just shopping, And I called him and I was like, I had this situation. My boss, he's called me the N-word.
Straight to you. Like, it's just, not that it matters, but like, you're in the office at work.
Yeah. And he was like, you were one of the smartest N-words I've ever met. Blew me away. And I'd never faced anything like that before. So I was like, I don't know what to do about this. So I called my brother because on one hand, I'm making all of this money. And my brother's like, yeah, you got to leave. I'm like, what? And now you got to mind, my brother's 5 years younger than me. And he's like, you got to leave. And I was like, we won't be able to shop and have crazy Brothers Days. Like we're G'd up right now. He's like, look, you're a man before you start the job. You gotta be a man when you leave the job. You gotta be a man the entire time that you're working there. You gotta leave. So I just tendered my resignation for that day and I left. And swore off engineering. So then that's illogical. But I then I think I managed a Hollywood video. I worked in a couple factories for a while. And then I did the web design stuff.
And then you did that for 7-8 years. Start the youth programs.
I'm watching the Super Bowl. And a GoDaddy commercial comes out. And it's like, you can make your own website by just clicking and dragging and da-da-da. And I was like, oh man, the web design money's going to go away fast. So sell the company. I studied for my Cisco certification. I had a college roommate, Anthony Dyson, who actually got expelled while we were in college for threatening a professor. I'm literally carrying him over my shoulder out of the classroom, and he's screaming how he's going to kill the professor. And he ends up getting his degree. We lose touch for a couple of years when I go back to New York. Find him on Facebook. He's been in like 26 countries, driving a Ferrari, jumping out of planes, this and other. Like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a network engineer. He's like, are you still good with, engineering? I'm like, as far as I know. He's like, yo, study for your Cisco certification. He's like, and come back into the field. So I was like, all right, study for, I think, like 3.5 months. Grabbed my Cisco certification, started working for a telecom out on the East Coast and mentoring kids at the same time. And that was that. And
then you lose a bet.
Yeah.
And you got to go to this open mic.
Yeah.
And then you end up going to the contest and winning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're off and running in comedy.
Yeah.
Well, still working. Mm-hmm. But then I think you told me once you did like a year and a half up in New York.
Mm-hmm. Almost 2 years.
And then you just stopped.
I come on vacation out to San Diego. And I just like it. So I was like, I'm going to move out to San Diego. I was here in May, and I was like, I'll move to San Diego before the end of the year. And the girl I'm with at the time is in nursing school. And I tell her, she's like, oh, we're not moving to San Diego. And I was like, I wasn't like asking you. Like, you're going to be a nurse. Like, you can work anywhere. And I was like, and I'm an engineer. I can work anywhere. We're going to San Diego. I was like, aren't we tired of the snow and all this stuff? I don't say anything else about it. And then December hits, and our relationship is going to shit by then. And
how were relationships between what was her name? Moni.
Her name's Ramona.
Between Moni and this point, where are you at with relationships? You've literally fallen in love, engaged, been cheated on multiple times. Where after that? Where's your trust? Where are you at?
I trusted people to be people. I'm no different with trust than as I am now. I always tell people I trust two people. I trust you to be you, and I trust me to deal with it. So, in all situations, you can be whoever it is that you're going to be. Once you show that to me.
And is that it? It's more like, I'm going to trust that you're just going to be a decent person until you show me differently.
Right. And then once you do that, I trust that I'll make the right decision. That's not the greatest perspective for relationships, not that I found, because it gives people a lot of rope.
Right. But then they fuck up. And that shows you who they actually are.
And they say, well, I wouldn't have fucked up had you told me not to be this person.
That's such
you not let me be this person. Had you been like, you prefer this or you want that or da-da-da, then I wouldn't have fucked up. I fucked up because you basically gave me too much freedom.
Yeah. That's such horse shit. And I say that like I identify with you where like with relationships I've been in and stuff all through college and whatnot. It was always like, and it was because one of the first real girlfriends I had, like, cheated on me. Every girlfriend I had from freshman year of high school through college ended up cheating on me, and so it's like 3 or 4 different women. But I remember, like, one of them was like she had been dating this one guy for like a couple of years, and we're in college. And she was like, well, and then she and I were dating, and she was like, well, during hockey season, like, we always have parties, and they're at my ex's, and it's like all of my friends. And I was like, go to the party. I was like, I'm not going to go, but like you should go. It's your friends. Like that's who you hang out with. It's your whole social circle. Do I have to worry about you and your boyfriend? No? Then go. I'll drop you. And I would literally drop her off at her boyfriend's house, and there's people and there's a house party, whatever. And I remember her being like, you don't get jealous. And I'm like, why would I? Do you want me to be jealous? Because that's kind of fucked up. But of course I'm not going to get jealous if I trust you. And if you tell me I can, until I can't. And then I couldn't.
And then you deal with that.
And then and then dealing with that is have a nice fucking day.
And I learned that. What I did learn is to walk away, but I may have learned to walk away a lot faster. Based on just what I went through with Moni. It was kind of like after that point, you didn't have to show me who you were more than one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good. And so I met good people, but I just didn't have a lot of rope, or I didn't give a lot of latitude. And so I had a lot of relationships that I'm still best friends with a lot of my exes, because I just did relationships when they got bad. Like the first time they got bad, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I told you I don't like the ketchup in the refrigerator. I prefer it in the cupboard. I can't be here.
And like, clearly this isn't going to work. If you don't know where the ketchup goes.
I can't be there. Why is the toilet paper turned this way?
Who doesn't buddy, that one's fine. That one, I think you're allowed to shut people out of your life for that one. You go to somebody's house and it's the wrong way, that's that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, why is there milk in the bowl? I'm about to pour cereal on top of it. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. I was that guy for a while.
So you're moving to San Diego.
Yeah,
she's not really on board.
Yeah, December hits, and I'm like, oh shit. I said I was moving to San Diego before the end of the year, so I call a recruiter out here, and I'm like, I want to move to San Diego. He's like, send me your resume. I sent my resume. HP offered me a job, Sempra, Juniper, UCSD. Mm-hmm. I'd never worked in academia, so I was like, well, I'll work at UCSD. Set it up. I needed to be out here January 7th. So I situated her in an apartment. I was like, look, our relationship is just no good. You know it. I know it. We're friends. We love each other, but this relationship isn't going anywhere. So I'm going to San Diego, but I'm going to put you in a different apartment. At the time we live in it was a 5-bedroom house. I was like, I'll put you in an apartment, because I'm kind of last minute hitting you with this, and it'd be wrong for me to
just leave it.
Yeah. So situated her in an apartment. I ended up paying her for her apartment an entire year. I'm living here and still paying for her apartment there. She finished, because I wanted her to finish nursing school. I thought it was unfair if I said, because at the time she wasn't working when she lived with me, because I wanted her to just go.
That makes sense. School. Yeah. Like so, this decision shouldn't end your school.
Yeah. So I did that. We're still good friends. She's happily with another guy right now, so he's a good dude and we're good friends, and so
and that was what year that you moved out here?
What are we in, 2023, 2016 January.
And then so you're here, no more comedy, haven't done comedy in a while. Mm-mm. Then how long were you here before you were like, I'm gonna go? And what brought you back again?
It was hard to walk away from me.
Why did you?
I wanted to focus on engineering. Like,
and you knew you couldn't do both.
Super talented engineers, and I had places I wanted to work. Like, I wanted to work at Sony. I work at Sony now.
Yeah.
But I didn't start at Sony. I was at UCSD. I had some certifications I needed to knock out. I wanted the highest security certification in the world, the CISP. So I had that, but that was an intense 1.5 year study. I'm also a certified ethical hacker, so I needed to go through a bunch of boot camps and studies and things like that. To just master the penetration techniques. So I did that. And then comedy was just always in the back of the mind. It was like, I'm going to do it.
Did you have any outlet for it with your friends? I mean, were you still like, it's very interesting that you're doing such a technical job, like the engineering side. It is all very logic and it's just very technical, and I would consider dry from the outside, a dry profession of just what it, like you said, it's not a lot of like visual creativity or da-da-da. And I don't know, maybe internally it is very creative with, like you were saying, like the ethical hacking and things like that. Maybe that is some form of creativeness, but to go from doing comedy and having that outlet to then just not, and then how long of a gap was it?
Oh, so I got out here in 2016. The pandemic was 2020. I think I took Zach Miller's class 2018 over at what is Mike Drop now?
Yeah, the Comedy Palace.
It was the Comedy Palace. I wanted to get back to comedy, and I wanted to see what the comedy scene in San Diego was like. I mean, everyone was like, "Well, you got to take a class first." I had reached out to
Who told you that?
I reached out to a woman in Chula Vista who runs a comedy.
Yeah,
and she was like, "Well, you have to audition for this one guy, and then if you audition for him, then he passes you to this other guy, and then I'll take a look at you." And it was just this long process. Now I was like, "I don't know."
Open mics. What do you mean? There's open like what do you?
I hadn't done an open mic. Like
because you had excelled past them. You were booked. You were doing work.
Yeah. And so anytime I would need new material, I would just do it on stage.
Yeah.
So I hadn't been to open mic in a long time. I still don't do a lot of open mics. And so someone was like, "Oh, just sign up for a class." So I signed up for Zach Miller's class and did his class. I had a blast, but then the pandemic hit and I didn't want to do virtual comedy. So I was like, "All right, well, I'll just sit off until we figure out this pandemic thing." And then once the pandemic thing was done, I just, I did Maria Herman's show out in Chula Vista, and it's just been off and running. Ellen Sugarman, she did a fantastic job of just like, she would tell a lot of people about me. And she would say, "Oh, you got to check this guy out." And then promoters would hook me up and they would be like, "Hey, Ellen Sugarman told us about you." And I was like, "All right, cool." And then the Don't Tell guys hit me up and say, no, I hit them up actually. And they were like, "Well, come through, Jay." And I just started doing a ton of Don't Tells. And now it's just like, it seems like
there's a lot. There's a lot, especially San Diego's got a great scene. There's so much stage time.
Yeah. And the thing I like about San Diego more than anything else is I think that there's a genuine camaraderie between the comedians. I think they literally like each other. Whereas more on the East Coast, it's more competitive.
I've heard that. Like, and I think it's even LA. I've heard that like down here, and I knew that like when I started, because I got here about 10 years ago when I started, and the scene was kind of like exploding. It went from something like as an open micer, you could do, I think it was like four or six spots a week tops. And then within like 2 years, if you went hard, you could do like, if you were just like grinding regular grind during the week, you could do like 13. Yeah. If you were going hard, you could do 17, but that involved like driving like 45 minutes out this way, and you know, but then we all like became friends, and we were all like positive and hanging out and doing stuff, and I remember the older guys being like, what is it? Like they didn't like it. And then a few of them were like, you know, 5 years ago when I started, this was not what it looked like. Like we all fucking hated each other, and we all were like, how do you get that? Why is he getting that? Da 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 da. Oh, don't book that guy, you know. And where we had like showed up, and it was hugs every time we saw each other, and like, "Oh, what show are you on? Oh my God, that's cool. I'm doing that next week." And da 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 da. It's great. And so the scene has been, it's a very positive scene, which is all I really knew. And then hearing like other scenes in other towns where it's like, but I think there is a change. I think there's a change. I think the younger generation, and I only say that like where like I've been out to Austin once to visit friends that have moved there, and that's recent, but it's like that seems to be a very positive, comic friendly scene to each other and stuff. And I'm sure there's cliques and whatever. And like even here, I find it funny that like I've been here 10 years, and I swear there's like there's like multiple scenes within the scene. There's like a whole scene of comics and shows that do stuff that like I don't even see those people, but I'm busy as can be over here doing these other things. And I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I see that on social media too. When we did the Keenan thing a couple weeks ago, I had bumped into comedians who I'd seen on social media, and they kind of do their own little scene. I'm like Dee Dee Steps. I've been out here the entire time. I've never seen her.
Right.
I've only seen Benji Garcia's like once. But on social media, I see he's always busy. Yeah. The guy who always carries his puppy around with him. Oh man, Mr. Falafel. I forget his name. He always has.
I've never even seen that guy.
Yeah, but
the guy that carries a puppy with him on does shows.
Got a room out in Temecula. He does a smoke room. He got a bunch of other rooms around it. He does. Good guy. I've never. I think I've seen him perform like twice. But he's just always busy. I see him. I don't see you that often, but I know you're always busy.
Yeah, we bump in. Yeah, so every now and then. So then, what's your goal? What is comedy for you? Is it an outlet? Is it a future? Is it a goal that you'll transition to? And I mean, you're still an engineer. You're doing software stuff and networking. I'm not exactly sure exactly what you do, but like you're still in that tech world of Sony.
Ultimately, be considered one of the funniest people ever to live.
Right, that's the only goal. What else is there?
To be the most financially lucrative, most popular, most famous comedian ever to live.
And what steps are you taking to get there?
Well, this podcast.
All right, step one.
Performing as much as I can.
Yeah. How often are you getting up?
Oh boy, I think 16 shows over the next 20 days.
That's a good run.
22 days.
You're in a relationship?
No.
Because when we met, when I was on the Hill, you were in one.
No.
Yeah?
No, I was meeting a girl at my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not your girl, but a girl.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Two different things. Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, having 16 shows in the next 20 days is kind of hard to have a relationship when that's happening.
I don't think so. I just think you have to say, look, this is what I plan to do. This is going to be like life for a minute.
A minute? You mean forever?
No.
What do you mean no? This shit only gets busier.
I mean, you can put an end to it, though.
And then to the comedy?
Yeah. I mean, you can run comedy 8 or 10 years and you just walk away.
Name a comic that's done that. I don't know how you like
Eddie Murphy. But I would walk completely away.
He walked away, but you're right. I guess there have been some, but he also walked away into a movie career.
I don't ever want to be known as one thing.
Okay.
So I don't want to be known as an engineer. I don't want to be known as a mentor. I don't want to be known as a comedian. I want to be known as everything.
What?
So, I'm sure that by the time I've done, comedy, I want to do a couple movies. I want to win a couple awards. Once I'm done with that, I'm sure somewhere along the line I'll figure out something else business-wise or something that I just really want to tackle. Engineering is an example of that. It's just like it was something I wanted to do, and I'm close enough to the top of my field, that I'm just like I can leave it now. When I get ready to walk away from it, I can just walk away from it, and so comedy will be next. And
so it's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So just like the Cisco certification and other things like that, you saw those like, okay, those are stepping stones to the thing, but like you I'm projecting onto, but like you appreciate and you like the challenge of the steps.
Yes. Love it. I love the process.
Because you want to build the thing.
Yeah.
And then once you're at the top, you're like, did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comedy is different because like it's not something I do. It's just what I was born with.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
I mean, you can get better at it.
Yeah.
You are like, I know I'm better than I was 10 years ago, but it still is like, this still is the skill set was set there before.
The talent was there. You were given a gift, you're given a talent. We apply the skill.
Okay.
And so it's like you can find somebody who, and I've seen a couple who are good comedians because they have the skill, but they don't have the talent.
Yeah.
And then you have some people who have a talent, but they don't apply the skill, but they can still rock shows on sheer talent.
Mm-hmm. And where did you start? Did you had the talent and then you acquired the skill? Like you were always comfortable. You were always a showman. You always had that ability to go up and talk and be comfortable.
I'm still acquiring the skill. I go out and I study a lot of comedians. I watch them. I think one of the most technically gifted comedians I've ever seen is probably Ryan Patterson. I saw him, Ryan Davis. I saw him downtown at ACC a couple months ago, and I'd seen him.
So you go to shows. You pay to go see comedy.
Yeah, and I just study.
What does that look like for you? What is studying look like? Because as somebody from a technical world, where like the Cisco and other things, like you study to acquire the knowledge to pass these tests to get the skill. What does that look like as far as studying comedy? What are you doing?
How long does this guy hold a facial expression? Does he come back to the center of the stage when he delivers the punchline? If he's off center when he delivers the punchline, what body mechanism did he use in order to pull that off? How much of his character is believable? What is he using to make his character believable? Is it intonation? Is it inflection? Is it physical comedy? I'm watching this story build. I'm like, some comedians will build a story and they'll start at the bottom and they'll bring you up and then they just drop you off a cliff, pick you up, take you back. Other comedians, it's more of a gradual, to a punchline. And so I'm watching those kind of things. I'm watching the writing. I'm watching the crowd work. I'm watching the scripted crowd work. Rich Voss is fantastic at scripted crowd work. So I'm studying those kind of things. I'm studying the room. When the host goes out, it doesn't even matter who the host is. I could have seen the host 50 times. I'm watching the host and then I'm watching the crowd and I'm trying to figure out, well, when the host delivers his first curse word, what is the crowd's response to that? Because then I can get a feeling as to whether or not the crowd is receptive to, curse words.
What kind of crowd they are. Yeah.
And so I study those kind of things. And then I study every comic that comes on before me. And I'm just trying to figure out what's the mood of the room.
That's a big one. And that's something where sometimes I want to know and other times I don't. Like there's sometimes where I'm like, I want to know where they are, at least the energy. But also sometimes I'm like, because I know I've caught myself where like it's been a hot room and you're in your head and you're like, it's a hot room. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to crush. It's going to be great. I'm going to da-da-da-da. And then you go out and it doesn't go the way you thought. And part of me's like, all right, is that because I built up who they were and I thought like, oh, I'm just going to ride that wave, da-da-da-da. And I think that's like, for me, I've pulled back from that where I'm like, I just want to know where their energy is. So I will watch, like I love watching. But if I know I'm about to do 20, 30 minutes or headline, I want to watch like the last 3 minutes of the person before me set. Because I'm off like making sure, what's my set list? I'm going to get that squared away. I go off into my corner and I do my jumping jacks and I stretch and all my weird shit. And then I want to go in there and stand at the back and kind of observe the crowd, see their vibe. What's the energy? Because I don't want to like if the person before you ends low energy, and that doesn't mean they're not getting laughs, but like they're just low energy. I don't want to come in firing on all cylinders and just be way off. I like to be like right above them wherever they are. But
I just trust the gift to do what it does. So the whole prep thing I do in the car.
What do? You got a ritual?
Before I get there, I have to go alone. I've had people say, "Oh, can you take me to the club with you?" I'm like, no.
It's the worst.
But you can meet me at the club.
Yeah. And then you don't like, on that note, do you not like being social either? Because I don't want to bring you with. And if you go, like people are like, oh, you should tell us, we'll all go. I'm like, I don't care. Like, don't feel like you have to do it for me. Don't support. Like, go see a better show. Like, if like I'm on stage, it's at this place, but like someone's downtown, go there. Like, that's fine with like. I'd rather you see a better show. Like, I'm at the gym. That's how I look at it. I'm working out. This is me practicing my job. Now, when I'm downtown at ACC or something doing a feature set for the weekend or at the store feature, like that's a show. But like a Thursday, that's my gym.
Right.
But also, like, for me, it's like, yeah, you can go, but just don't expect to talk to me or see me before the show or honestly afterwards, because
by the time I get out the car, you're dealing with my persona. So I can talk to you, I can have a good time. I might not necessarily remember any of the conversation. I can be social the whole nine. You're just
like you're on. You're already turned on.
Yeah, you're just
the performer's on.
Yeah, the engineer part of me is gone.
Who am I talking to right now?
Well, my persona. If I have my shirt on, then you're talking to Jarwan. Like, you didn't say, "Hey, Jesse, could we have a podcast?"
Right.
So
I didn't know I was dealing with two different people.
Yeah, easily. I am like, there has to be that clear separation for me between the two, and so there is. And so when I'm on stage, when I'm there at the show, I mean, I'm Jarwan, but in my personal circles, in my personal life, I'm Jesse. I'm, uncle.
Are you subdued? Are you turned down? Are you not? Because in my mind, like, you're on stage, I'm a heightened version of me.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I'm not different.
Oh no, I'm completely different.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, you at the office is not the funny guy. You're not on. You don't see. You
I'm
don't
on
have
at the office.
You are.
Yeah. I don't like closeness to people like that. Not myself. So when I'm at the office and I have to be around people, then I'll just give them my persona. So they don't know I'm a comedian. they say it all the time. They're always like, "Oh my God, you're funny. You should be a comedian." And I'm like, really though? I'm like, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I would never do that. That's crazy.
You say that to them. Meanwhile, you've got a show that night.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 99% of my office doesn't know I'm a comedian.
Right. By design. You prefer that.
Yeah. One of my colleagues stopped me 3 weeks ago, and he's like, "Can I tell you a secret?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I saw you perform at 619 Spirits. You're a comedian." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How come you don't tell everybody?" I was like, "I prefer they not know." And he's like, "All right, well, I haven't told anybody." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Oh my God, you're so funny." And I was like, "Thanks." And so he's like, "You don't think that they know? Everyone's always like, you should be a comedian." And I was like, "No."
And is it because it's like, because I will say it's kind of annoying. And it's kind of annoying when people know that you're a comedian. And I don't have like a normal 9 to 5 or like, I mean, you're putting in the time, you're in the office, you're doing like a real job, like real, like high level tech job. And I could imagine that would be a nightmare if all of them knew all the time.
And I mean, there's the social media aspect of it, right? So we're on social media, but there isn't a company that I don't work for that doesn't have a social media policy.
How does that work? Like, I even asked that when you said, like, are the things like with your highest level stuff and your, the Cisco and the ratings and the clearances, does a podcast like this concern you?
No, because you're not going to put Jesse on the podcast and they don't know me as Jarwan.
But you're you. I'm not going to, I'm going to tag Jarwan.
Right. And
this goes out. And so then that your mind, like, then they're never going to find that?
I've never had that issue.
Okay.
I had one boss who was like, because I told him I was a comedian, he was trying to get me to do something late night, and I was like, "Look, I have an obligation. I literally have a show." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm a comedian." And he's like, "I'm gonna find you." And I was like, "Okay." And he couldn't. And he's just like, "Are you sure you're a comedian?" Like, last I checked.
That's pretty impressive.
Like, "How do I find you?" And I was like, "You don't."
If anyone would know how to do that, it's you, by the way, in the tech world. Like
I had to scrub myself from like Google and a bunch of other stuff one year. Because my real name, my government name, and my persona got too closely linked. So
I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that you could do something like that. Yeah, scrub your shit.
If you don't want to be on, like, if you don't want people to type your name in and find your address or find things about you, you can just send letters, literal emails, and you just scrub yourself away.
That's interesting. I have a buddy that's in networking and high level stuff, and he is like 100% like I have zero presence on the internet, and he's like, and that's how he wants it. He's like literally, like, we've been together, and he's like, "Dude, don't, like, I think like someone took a picture, and he's like, you can't put, like, don't post that, don't post me on the internet, don't post da da da." And then the weirdest time it ever got was I had gone to China with a company I worked for years ago, and I got back, and he was like, "Hey, did you have your phone in China?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You need to destroy your phone." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Did you have your phone in China?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you turn it on?" Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, that phone is now compromised. You need to get rid of your fucking phone." I was like, "What are you talking?" He's like, "I'm just telling you, dude. This is what I do. That's how it works. If you connected to anything in China, your phone is now compromised."
Yeah.
And I didn't do it because it's $1,000 phone.
Really though?
Probably should have.
Probably should have.
Is it too late? Is it too late? It's probably too late.
I went to Guangzhou. And immediately when I came back, I threw my phone away.
For that exact reason.
For that exact same reason. Yeah.
Well, shit. Now it's too late, because now if I've connected that phone to anything of my other stuff, it's all fucked.
I mean, it's all fucked anyway.
I mean, I have TikTok. I'm fucked.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, China can play 6 degrees of all of us, right?
Right.
So I throw my phone away, but my brother's got me.
Right.
5,000 different places, or my sister or whatever. So for what it's worth, you can do your due diligence, and because we're in IT security, we do our due diligence.
Yeah.
But we understand that it's
everywhere anyways.
It's just face value that we're doing these things at, just basic protocol. But we understand there's two type of people: those who have been hacked and those who know they've been hacked. Like, that's it. There's nobody else.
I thought you were going to say those that have been hacked and those that are going to be, but no, those that have been and those that know.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrifying.
It's the world we live in.
That is a world we live in. Yeah. All right. So you're approaching or at the highest level of your career.
Engineering-wise?
Engineering-wise.
Yes.
So, and you said I mean, you're ready. You look at things to grow, build, get it there, move to the next thing. Mm-hmm. Are you waiting to get comedy to a certain point before you decide I'm done with engineering and now it's comedy full bore?
I'm applying myself to engineering I'm into comedy right now.
Okay.
And if I lose the love for engineering, or I stop having fun with it, I just was.
You like it. You like it.
I like it. I was talking to my boss just yesterday, and I told her, as long as I have fun and I'm learning, I'm good here. At the moment that neither of those two things are the situation, then I'll leave. Comedy right now, I'm just starting to really apply effort to the skill, because there's the branding part about it. There's the marketing. So
it's not just writing jokes anymore.
Yeah, and then obviously, if you want to keep any of your money, you have to have LLCs and things like that. So Uncle Sam doesn't just hijack you.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting all of that stuff squared away. I have a photographer finally on my payroll. I need to get a videographer.
I know people if you want.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
And so now I'm applying it, and whenever I get to a point where the money starts to, at least come close. I don't expect comedy, at the onset to me when I'm making engineering, but when it starts to get a little bit closer, then I'll make a decision. And I'll leave engineering and bounce over to comedy. I never wanted to be a starving artist.
Well, especially once you were making good money.
Yeah.
When I first started, it was 10 years ago. I was running a construction company in Florida, and I was married at the time. And then I decided to get out of construction, and I wasn't doing comedy yet, but I decided to get out of construction. And then my wife and I at the time just came to a very friendly conclusion that we shouldn't be married anymore. And I remember when I left, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna I was 30, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. And I was living out of my truck, and I was like, I spent 5 months driving around the country and couch surfing and staying in the bed of my truck and things like that, and on couches and families and stuff. And I will say there was some part of me that was like, and I was doing comedy the whole time. And then I moved out here and I was doing comedy. I was sleeping on my brother's futon, doing open mics every night of the week and loving it. And I remember thinking, I've never had less money and been more happy.
Yeah. And
so that felt good.
Hey.
And that lasted a little while. But then it was like, okay, I don't know, I can't, because I think I looked around, and I was also 30. And then I looked around, and a bunch of the guys I'm at the mics with that I'm friends with, these are my new friends. Some of them were 19. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, you can sleep on a blow-up mattress. I get that.
Yeah.
But I can't. I physically can't.
I'm always like, I'm 230, you're 160.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot more for me to get to starving. A lot more pain for me to lose this and get to starving than it's going to take you. So, that's part of it.
How old are you?
I'll never divulge that.
Because I don't know how old you are.
I don't hang outside of school buildings. It's my age is not. It's not. There's no relevance to that. I've done the full spectrum, right?
Right. Literally, you've done the full spectrum. You've done more of the full spectrum than anyone I know.
I was happier broke.
Do you think you're more creative when you're broke?
I'm more creative in the shower. It doesn't matter what the money is like.
I used to have a pencil in my shower, and I would literally write on the walls, and I covered all the walls. And I did it when I first when I was living with my brother, and then when I had to move out, I literally had to wet sand the fiberglass walls. And then when I lived with the woman that became my wife, I remember she literally installed a pencil for me. And because I'm the same way, when I'm in the shower, I just have ideas, and then I covered our walls with.
And
jokes.
The one thing I learned out here that I never knew, and maybe it took for granted when I was in New York, is I'm more creative around creative people. There's something about just being around, high quality comics that will bring out, the best of you, bring out the creativity. So those are the two places I'm more creative. Money comes with a lot of stress. You don't ever want to not have it once you've had it. And keeping and managing money isn't the same thing as having money and acquiring money. So when you're broke, that's not something you have
No.
to worry about. And, you know, no one ever looks at that broke guy and goes, he's a has-been. They're like, he's a never was.
Right.
You know, the higher you go up, the farther you got to fall. You know,
Yeah, and you don't have to fall that far before they're like, he's a has-been.
yeah, yeah.
It's not that far.
Yeah. And so there's that stress to it. You know, your friendships get weird. You know,
With the money.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, because my friends all didn't follow me on the engineering path, and I didn't make a lot of engineering friends because they tend to be very introverted, and I'm not a very introverted person, because I don't normally wear my true self outside, and
Do you feel like you hide it? Are you hiding your true self? Like, which one's your true self? Is Jarwan the true self? Is the guy on stage putting it out there and having the fun and being creative and expressing himself the true self? That's a full act, or it's just a version. It's just is it just turned up? Like, how big is the split?
The split's huge. It's Grand Canyon size. It's size huge.
How do you manage that mentally? How do you know? I mean, when can you turn it on? When can you turn it off? And is that what the car ride is? The car ride is literally
the car ride is a turn
as soon as the doors open at the club.
Yeah, it's
time
to go to
it's
work.
Jarwan now.
Yeah, it's time for Jarwan to go to work. Jarwan wouldn't do well in engineering, and Jesse wouldn't do well on stage. So, yeah, they're both part of me.
Is Jesse ever in there when you're on stage? Is Jesse more insecure? Is like, is there? Do they bleed over at all?
Jesse there's more vulnerability. Jesse, for sure. Do they bleed over at all? Here's where they bleed over. If Jesse feels threatened by something, Jarwan takes over.
So is Jarwan the guy that tells somebody, hey, the next part of this conversation is physical?
Yeah. Jesse's the person.
So you created this a long time ago.
Jesse's the person that says the next part of this is physical. Jarwan's the part that will execute the physical part of it.
Okay. Because Jesse's calm, collected, tactical, logical.
Yeah.
And then Jarwan has fists.
Like you're trying to hurt us. And so if you're trying to hurt us, you know, I'm going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that doesn't take place.
So was there a Jarwan before comedy?
Yeah.
And you knew that then? Or did you put a name?
My friends all call me, they started calling me Jarwan when I was like, I think I went to my mom and I told her I wanted to be called Jarwan when I was like 12. And she was like, I'm not calling you that. But
which makes sense.
Yeah. I was
for your mom.
After my father. And so I get to 12 and my mother forces me to meet my father one time. And after meeting him, I just wasn't very impressed with him. So I was like, Mom, like, I don't want to be called him. Can I just change my name? And she's like, what do you want to be called? And I was like, I just want to be called Jay. So she was like, all right. And I started 8th grade and there's like 15 J's in the school. So I'm like, Mom, there's like 15 J's in the school. Can I be called something different? And she's like, yeah. Like, well, what do you want to be called? And I was like, well, give me a couple days. And at that time, all the girls were like, oh, French is the language of love and this, that, and the other, da-da-da. And I was like, I need a French sounding name. So it was to be Jarwan, right?
Jarwan.
Yeah. So I went to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I want to be called Jarwan. And she's like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. She's like, I'm not calling you that. She's like, everybody else
not Jarwan.
That's fine.
Jarwan.
Yeah, I was Jarwan. And it's like everybody just started then just going Jarwan. And so I was like, no, it's Jarwan. And it was like no one
you're not correcting
like that.
Yeah.
So it's none of the dudes. No. So it just became Jarwan. And at that point in time, there was always that split. When I was at home, my family calls me Jay or Jesse. With the exception of my nieces, they call me Uncle Jarwan because I didn't want to be Uncle Jesse because that was too full houses, or Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
So, but the rest of my family, Jay and Jesse, most people who are in my intimate circles, call me Jay or Jesse. It really is just comedy fans and guys from the block who don't call me Books, who call me Jarwan. So
that started then, and you built that. And Jarwan was always the funny one. Jarwan would turn it on because Jesse's got to have it. It's in there.
Jesse's the engineer,
but it's still you. You're still in there. When you fall in love, who is it? When you're fucking, who's fucking?
It depends on how you want to be fucked, right?
That's true. I get that makes total sense.
So
who's smoother? Who lays it down and who's smoother?
Juan.
How does Jesse fuck that?
Jesse's more romantic, right? Like
so Jarwan fucks.
Yeah.
Jesse makes love. Jesse's a sweetie.
Yeah.
Jesse's a lot of eye contact.
Yeah.
Jarwan's putting chokeholds.
Jarwan gets ready to say some shit, and Jesse's like, "We can't say that." And Jarwan's like, "Shut up, bitch."
Wow.
So,
I mean, I like it. It sounds like it actually makes some things easier.
It makes a lot of things easier,
but also it kind of complicates some things too. I'm guessing.
Not for me. For people who attempt to get close to me, sometimes that I don't want necessarily to be so close to me, it gets difficult for them. It's tough for especially women. It's tough for women to navigate when they first try to get to know me if I'm unsure of them.
If you're out with friends and you are having dinner or something, clubbing, whatever, you're at somewhere. Jarwan. It's true. If you meet a person, the first name you're giving them is Jarwan.
Yes.
Wow. That's like a superhero shit. There's something to it.
Just is what it is. I mean, he's good at what he does. He manages to gift very well. So I have no qualms with Juan.
Well, I don't either. I'm glad he came for this podcast.
Jesse was like, "Really though?" Like
he didn't want to. Yeah, he's like, "We got shit to do."
He called us today, and he's like 4 o'clock today. Juan's like, "Man, get up. We going to the fucking podcast." And I was like, "Say less." So
yeah, well, I'm not gonna apologize. I don't know. It worked out, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? My afternoon's open," and I was like, "I need to do more podcasts," and I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah, and I wanted to do it.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
I like your energy.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. I thought it was funny. We met in the car when you picked me up with your huge heart, and I hadn't seen you perform, but I will say, just talking to you in the car, I was like, there's no way this guy's not funny because he's kind. And we did laugh in the car, and you had I believe that most people with a good laugh, I don't know, a good laugh, are funny in some way. And then I remember we did the show and I was like, "Hey, why don't you do the mic drop?" And I was like, somebody's like, "Oh, who is he?" I was like, "Never seen him. We'll see. We'll see how this goes." And then you murdered. You did great.
Thanks.
And now we're here. So where can people find you then? How do they find?
Tonight I'm at Poly.
Well, don't do tonight because this isn't going to come out. This is kind of getting stacked up, and then this will come out probably in it's going to come out within the next couple months. But where can they find your stuff to find where you're going to be?
They can find me on social media, my Instagram. I am JARWANNELSON. I'm Jarwan Nelson. I'm also on Snap. Jarwan Nelson.
Is that a thing? Should we be on Snap? I'm asking
Snap,
the tech guy.
I'm on TikTok. Not that I spend much time on anything but Instagram.
Yeah. Do you have a website?
No, not yet. I will in about a week.
Got it. Well, give it out. What's it going to be? You already got.
I already have the domain. So it's JarwanNelson.com.
JarwanNelson.com.
Yep.
There it is. Dude, thank you for doing this. Thank you for sharing.
Oh man,
and it's great getting to know you a little better.
Energy. And I can't wait to rock stage again with you.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. March 2nd.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it is.
All right, there we go.